How has your club been impacted by flooding in the past?
So since 2005, we have been flooded 2005, 2009, 2011, 15, 16 and 22 to varying levels of flood. We have what we call our intermediate level of flood, then we have our higher level of flood, and then we've had two total disaster ones where we lost everything basically. In 2011 and in 2022, both of those floods, the water rose very, very quickly, and we were unable to rescue a lot of our equipment because we couldn't get access to the grounds.
What specific resilience measures has your club put in place following those previous floods?
After 2011, when we rebuilt the fence around our long jump arena and our discus nets, they were constructed, the concrete was a lot deeper, the posts are deeper into the ground, and that's why they were both still standing after the 2022 floods. We just basically had to high pressure clean all of the debris that was hanging off all of the fencing. And then after 2011, we're very, very lucky that our clubhouse was built in 2015, so we took steps to move our expensive equipment to higher ground so that it won't ever flood. And we rearranged where our equipment's stored so that we know that sheds that go under have got equipment that can just be hosed and washed. One thing we did do is our bench tops are stainless steel, so they were fine, and the cabinetry actually survived the floods. So we were very lucky about that.
Are there any other improvements needed to prepare your club for future floods or natural disasters?
It's on our wish list that we would like to relocate where our e-switch is, because at the moment it is still in the low-lying area. So ideally it'd be fabulous if it could be up on the second level of the clubhouse here, well and truly above, or even if it was under the clubhouse, it's still higher than it is now.
How did your club capitalise on available grant funding to support your recovery?
So one of the grants that we applied for from the local council was they had an infrastructure grant which we could use as a feasibility study. So from that, we were able to design our canteen. And once we had the canteen designed, we were then able to apply for a grant to build the canteen. So overall, I applied for over 20 grants, but I got 15 of them. And we got $478,000 in grants, excluding GST, to replace our equipment, repairs to infrastructure, like build the canteen, like I said. We received $5,268 in insurance money, donations of $875, and then we also had a GoFundMe page that we got roughly $2,900. We decided to go down the grant line because we knew that there were so many clubs in Southeast Queensland that were affected by the flood event, and we were all claiming under the same insurance policy. So the pool is only so large, and if we had have only relied on insurance, we wouldn't have recovered. It was good that we had the donations and the GoFundMe money, because you can't actually apply to replace your canteen stock in a grant, or your toilet paper, or your hand towels, all that sort of like incidental stuff that still costs a lot of money.
How does your club monitor weather and anticipate potential flooding?
Basically, we watch the weather. We keep an eye on the tides. We know that if we've had days and days of really heavy rain and we've got a king tide coming, that there's a pretty big chance we're going to flood. So we can watch it, and we can try and plan as best we can. We put the word out on Facebook. Lots of our families, current families and even past families, they don't mind helping. If we put the word out and say, hey, put your gumboots on, we need to move stuff to higher ground, it's a bit exciting. They like coming, they love helping. We get all the four-wheel drives out and the trailers, and so we just have to realise that we are where we are. We're not on top of a mountain. We've got beautiful grounds, but they flood. So we just have to be really proactive, and sometimes it takes a lot of energy, and you just have to find it. And I think the biggest thing with us is that we realise that if we ask for help, we'll get it, as opposed to a small number of people who are on the committee thinking that they have to shoulder the burden themselves. We had some people who had floods at home, but they couldn't deal with it because they were waiting for insurance companies to come, and they thought they might as well come and help us. And we had some people, because it was on our Facebook page, who they weren't even related. They had no kids here, but they were just like, you know what, I've got a shovel and a bucket and I'm coming.
What advice would you give to other clubs to prepare for natural disasters?
Stock take, it's annoying, it's time consuming, but if you have a list and you lose everything, you've got your list, because it's proof for either grant purposes or insurance purposes, or just even to ask for donations. So regular stock taking with us, we try and do it twice a season, but once a season is probably what happens, because you'll forget that something broke and you replaced it, or you bought 2 new things. And if you don't add them to the list and you're dealing with the stress of disaster, you're going to forget until you go to use it and you don't have it. So that's really important. The other thing that we do is cloud storage. Try not to save things on devices because, well, they break. So as long as you don't lose your passwords, that's important. Then, yeah, just everything. Put your minutes of your meetings, put photos up there, put lists, put everything up there. I just think communicate with all your members. Tell them how you need help, when you need help, particularly if you do feel that we've moved gear before and we haven't flooded, because we've pulled the lever going, this is it, we need to sandbag, and then the water goes down and you think, oh, but I'd rather spend half a day sandbagging than 6 months recovering. So just little things like that, and people don't mind. Honestly, they'll help. You just have to ask.